Alright, let's continue our investigation. I'm sure right now I have to backtrack all over the place because I know we're gonna do some experiments. Oh, yep, it's all ready. Yep, I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna fucking happen. Hello? Where is the last one, though? Oh. But I've already looked at both of these. Yeah, I've already looked at both of those. Yeah. But I also need to talk to them about what I found inside those lockers. If it'll let me. Yes, it will! Alright. So I was thinking, White definitely couldn't have done that, because why would she kill the person that's funding her? But then it also had that letter where he said he wished her good luck and she was leaving.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father, so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
You keep racking up motive. He keeps racking up a lot of motive. Wow. You do too, Mr. Albert, but you're very distraught, so I don't know about it.
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
No.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
Where's the... Okay, maybe it's... Yeah, there we go.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Oh man, all these motives are fucking racking up. They're hella racking up. But the one thing is I don't know about White's motive because it just shows that she's so financially dependent on him. Why would she kill someone that she's so financially dependent on? That doesn't make a lot of sense in my mind. You would think that she'd want him alive so she can continue to take his money.
Kew Gardens is such an exciting place. Wouldn't you agree?
And I can't even ask her about it. Alright. Let's make our little conclusions here. Wow! Albert was humiliated. Albert had a motive to kill his father, Montague Dunn. Dunn had thwarted Albert's dream of joining the Navy. By killing his father, Albert could have his revenge and eventually succeed in his father's place as director. No, not really. Because he's not even... You would think he would go after. If it was his big dream, why doesn't he pursue it now? Albert's ambitions. Martin Hamish had a motive. He believed that he and his father's lives had been ruined by Dunn, who had taken the credit for all their work. Hamish wished to take over the directorship of Kew Gardens, but he knew that he would not be possible when Dunn was alive. That sounds reasonable. Are you fucking serious? That's it? Fine. Fine a loony doony. Fine a loony doony. Alright. Let's... Well, let me check what I'm gonna do next. Oh, I need Toby. We need the best nose in the entire world. Toby.
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do.
Why
Let us
is
go to Kew Gardens.
Watson... Hi. Why is Watson doing that?
This green, grand, mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What should we do next, Holmes?
You can stop doing whatever you're doing. Oh, look at the puppy dog! Oh man, I would do anything to have a dog. No, I wouldn't, because if that were true, I'd have a dog. Oh, I'll stick with my birds and my plants. They're great company. In fact, they're great listeners, except for the birds. They're not good listeners. They're great talkers, though, especially Salsa. He can just blow you away with his conversation. In all he says is just 2 words, just over and over again, and it just captivates you. He just yells, "Baby bird, baby bird, baby bird," over and over again. And he might throw in a couple other words in there, like salsa or come here. He's cute.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
Alright, I am a puppy dog, and it's this way. Let me open it with my doggy paw. Good. Wow, this is my walking, and this is my running. Oh, yes. Yes, third person puppy dog. Third person puppy dog is best puppy dog. Oh, I was not expecting it to go this way. Oh, is it buried? I think it's buried. Oh man, this is quite a trek. Here it is.
Congratulations, Toby. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
We found caterpillars before, but that was in the Syndicate.
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Yes! Alright.
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
And whose was this? Oh. He lied about it too. He moved the painting so he could see inside. It was him. It was him. He moved the picture so he could see inside and watch it happen. Oh. Oh, he did it all from his desk, didn't he? Oh. Oh. Oh, I think I'm onto something. I think it's him now. Oh, shit. He saw it and watched it. He had to have. He must have watched it happen. Oh.
Poor Mr. Montague Dunn. It is so awful.
It is awful, isn't it? I think it's him. I think it's him. It had to be. So, he's lied multiple times, and he was able to watch it happen, and the only reason that those colonial things have been moved is so he could see inside and make sure he can watch it happen. It was...
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found hidden at Kew Gardens. Let us use a pipette to take a sample of the liquid. Quite
Don't
a
smell
strong floral aroma.
That's probably a really bad idea.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor there.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens.
Might be a bad idea. Might be a bad idea. That might be a bad idea because it was put through the vents.
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle. you found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. Red sediment, just as I suspected.
Okay,
This
yeah.
liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
There we go. Set up the alkaloid from a chemical laboratory and the caterpillars to perform experiments with the deadly plants. Okay, can I do that here? Do I have to go?
According
I
to
can do
the
it
deadly
here.
plants
Yes.
information, in order to perform our experiment, we will need fertilizer and food. Caterpillars should do nicely. According to the deadly plants information,
But
according to
I have the caterpillars. You have to believe me. Fertilizer. I might need cocaine. Yeah, let's go back to the Divine Syndicate. I think I have to grab the cocaine from there. The cocaine fertilizer, I should say. I think that's what I need to do. Give it to me.
This is rather delicious.
My word.
What, can I not take it? I guess not. Well then, oh jeez. Where do I get the fertilizer? Here we go.
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. Perfect,
Yes.
Watson. We can begin our experiment.
Cool. Can I do it here? No. Let's go back home.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask.
Take this and put it back. Move you, and you, and you, and you. Right, right. Cool. Oh, there's stories. Alright, put that back, make more. More of this. And another calculator. Okay, and then I guess more. Okay, then what? Oops. There we go. Okay, I know. Alright, move you and you. Next, we're going to put that back. For you, on you. Next, we're going to take you and pin you. Over you. I'm confused. There we go. Got it. I kind of didn't mean to do
Toxic
that.
gas with spores. Extraordinary. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
It's the vents. It wasn't done right next to him. It was the vents. It was the vents. Oh, come on. It wasn't done right next to them. It was the vents, and it was done from a desk through the vents. Because it was in a closed room. It's very hard for a killer to be like, yo, let me stab it. Come here, breathe it in. No, of course not. The killer's wearing a gas mask. He's not gonna want to approach with the guy wearing a gas mask. Albert's lack of experience. Albert is not very good at botany, so he couldn't have done it. Yep. Completely agree. I don't think it was Albert. It was you. Kind of gave it away because he was a dick right from the beginning.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
So he admits he did see him through the window.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious? Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Alright, let's talk to Miss White. There haven't been any female killers yet, and I'm quite sad. I thought that this might be the first one. I'm all about them female... I don't know if I should finish that sentence. I'm all about the unique... I don't know if I should finish that sentence. I'm all about the slightly more unique... No, it's not really fantastical. Rare... The slightly more rare instance where it's a female killer.
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone home.
Whoa.
The way is clear.
Okay, alright, so first, this is what I'll choose. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let's do, I think. Yeah, scores then. Yeah. Oh, maybe it wasn't here, let's do again.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
So what, the caterpillars were the ones that were dropped?
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation
Got
duct.
it.
Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
Am I gonna drop caterpillars on top of Watson's head? That would be cute. Okay. Okay. Just this way. No. Yes. I'm not sure which way. This way. Here we go.
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Okay.
Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
Watson, did caterpillars fall on your head?
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Yeah. Ventilation used. Da da da. Martin Hamish had the opportunity to stimulate the deadly plants in the Colonial Collection Room. As a biologist, he would have to understood the technicality of how to do this. I don't mean to do that. I really honestly quite don't mean to do that. The Divine Syndicate left the plants at Kew Gardens in order to murder Montague Dunn at a later date. Someone stole the deadly plants before the Syndicate was able to. Martin Hamish could be the killer. He had the opportunity to steal the Divine Syndicate's plants and stimulate them from his workplace directly after he had locked Montague Dunn inside the Colonial Collection Room. And he did speak to him before. Affect the arrest of Martin Hamish. Oh, I'm gonna go arrest him? Like right now?
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Am I really? I mean, to interrogate him, maybe? I'm trying not to say I know it's him. I'm almost certain it's him, but are we really gonna go Arrest him? Right now? Are we just gonna talk to him? I don't want to make any false accusations. I've already fucked up twice, friends. I already fucked up twice and I feel bad if I keep fucking up. Alright. Okay, let's go. Arrest him.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
I didn't make my choice yet, did I? I don't want to. I want to talk to him first. Right? Am I accidentally making my choice right now? Because I really don't want to do it right now. I kind of want to think about it a little more. Like on the other ones, I took maybe 20 to 30 minutes to think about. Oh gosh. And I was wrong in most of those, but I don't know. I kind of want to think about it a little bit more. He's who I think he is, but I'm just a little nervous. I'm just a smidgen nervous here. All right.
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Why am I going to talk to him?
Holmes, my God!
Yes, we found him like that.
What?
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
What? What just... Wait, What? The fuck? What the actual fuck? Is he not our murderer? Was he murdered by someone else?
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
What? What? The heck? Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Dunn deserved to die, but I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon my hands. We Hamishes seem to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so here and now. Farewell. No. He was murdered, wasn't he?
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Is it? Is it? 'Cause, you're thinking a lot harder than I am. Martin Hamish was unable to run due to the tibial torsion of his club foot. Therefore, we should find out if he had sufficient time to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room and activate the ventilation system. Did he have an accomplice? Oh, and the accomplice killed him in order... Oh. Discuss with Lestrade the possible impact of new clues. Oh, I see. I wouldn't have thought.
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
Same.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Oh dear God. I'm not very good
Let
at
us analyze the facts and statements, so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
I'm not good at timelines. I'm not good at timelines. Fuck.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door, more than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Let's figure it out next time. I kind of have thoughts on it, but let me think about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.